The quantum communication array at Luna Base Alpha erupted with activity at exactly 3:47 a.m. Earth Standard Time. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, head of Earth's Quantum Communications Division, stared at the incoming transmission with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The signal wasn't from any of Earth's colonies or research stations. It originated from deep space, carrying a signature unlike anything humanity had encountered before. "This is Fleet Commander's Rax of the Craxus Empire." The transmission began, materializing as a holographic figure in the center of the command room. The alien's form was crystalline, almost geometric in its symmetry, with multiple limbs that seemed to phase in and out of reality. "Your species has developed quantum entanglement technology far earlier than projected. This violation of natural progression cannot be allowed to continue." The room fell silent. Humanity had indeed mastered quantum technology decades ago, but they kept their true capabilities hidden, maintaining a facade of being a young, struggling spacefaring civilization. Now, it seemed, their secret was out. Admiral James Chen, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, stepped forward. His weathered face showed no sign of the tension gripping everyone else in the room. "We're a sovereign species, Commander's Rax. Our technological development is our own business." The crystalline being's form flickered, its geometric patterns shifting in what might have been amusement or anger. "You misunderstand, human. This is not a negotiation. The Craxus Empire has maintained order in this galaxy for 50,000 years by controlling the spread of quantum technology. You will surrender your quantum research facilities, data cores, and scientists within one standard solar rotation, or we will eliminate your species." Elena's hands tightened on the console. Earth had heard similar threats before, from the Centaurian Collective and the Orion Confederation. But something about the Craxus Empire felt different. Their technology seemed to operate on principles that defied known physics. Admiral Chen's response was measured, carefully neutral. "We'll need time to consider your demand." "You have 24 hours, Zrak stated. The hologram dissolved, leaving behind an eerie silence. As soon as the transmission ended, Elena turned to her quantum displays. "Admiral, their signal. It wasn't just communication. They were scanning us, probably mapping every quantum signature on Earth and our colonies." Chen nodded, unsurprised. "How much did they find?" "That's the thing," Elena said, pulling up complex wavefront analyses. "They only detected our public facilities. The Titan base, the Mars arrays, everything we wanted them to see." A subtle smile crossed Chen's face. "And the others?" "Still hidden. Project Prometheus remains undetected." The Admiral turned to face the assembled leadership of Earth's Defense Forces. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've prepared for this moment for 30 years. Since we first detected quantum signatures from deep space, we knew this day would come. Initiate Protocol Omega." Around the solar system, hidden facilities began to power up. Beneath the ice of Europa, quantum computers that had been running simulations for decades shifted to combat protocols. In the clouds of Venus, microscopic quantum entangled particles began to align. "They expect us to either surrender or fight conventionally," Chen continued. "They've conquered countless civilizations this way, but humanity has never played by anyone else's rules." Elena pulled up the classified files on Project Prometheus. "Sir, are you sure? Once we activate the quantum consciousness network, there's no going back. We'll be revealing capabilities that no other species has even theorized." "Dr. Rodriguez," Chen replied, "humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our refusal to accept limitations. The Craxus Empire thinks they're giving us an ultimatum. Instead, they're about to discover why humanity has survived every crisis we've ever faced." As alarms began to sound throughout Earth's hidden facilities, Elena couldn't help but smile. The Craxus Empire had made a fundamental mistake. They assumed humanity would follow the same patterns as other species, either surrender or fight a conventional war. They didn't understand that humans had spent centuries preparing for this moment. developing technologies and strategies that went far beyond simple warfare. The next 24 hours would change the galaxy forever, not because humanity would fight back, but because they would introduce the Craxus Empire to something they'd never encountered before: human ingenuity unbound by conventional thinking. The warning had been delivered, but it wasn't humanity who should have been afraid. Deep beneath Europa's icy surface, Dr. Maya Patel stood before a vast chamber of quantum processors, their crystalline structures pulsing with an inner light that seemed to defy physical space. She watched as thousands of consciousness patterns flowed through the network, each one a perfect digital copy of a human mind, evolving and adapting at speeds impossible for organic brains. Status report. Admiral Chen's voice came through the quantum-entangled comm, entirely free from the light-speed delay that should have existed across such vast distances. Project Prometheus is exceeding expectations, Maya responded, her eyes tracking the streams of data. The transferred consciousness patterns are stable, and the integration with the quantum defense systems is at 97% efficiency. 30 years ago, when humanity first detected the quantum signatures of advanced civilizations, they had made a choice. Instead of developing conventional weapons or defenses, they had pursued a different path. While maintaining a facade of normal technological progress, they had poured resources into understanding the ultimate frontier: human consciousness itself. The result was Project Prometheus, a quantum network capable of hosting transferred human consciousness, allowing human minds to operate at the speed of thought across vast distances. It was a technology that even the Craxus Empire, with all their advanced capabilities, hadn't conceived of. "What's the status of the Helios array?" Chen asked. Maya switched her displays to the massive quantum satellite network hidden in Venus's atmosphere, online and undetected. The quantum camouflage is holding. They still have no idea we've wrapped our entire solar system in a consciousness-linked defensive grid. In orbit around Earth, the Craxus Empire's advanced fleet had grown to over 1,000 ships. Their crystalline vessels hung in space like frozen fractals, beautiful and terrifying. They were still waiting for humanity's response to their ultimatum, confident in their overwhelming technological superiority. They had no idea they were already surrounded. Dr. Rodriguez has finished analyzing their quantum signatures, Maya reported. Their crystalline technology is impressive, but it's purely mechanical. They've never considered consciousness as a computational medium. Admiral Chen's response carried a hint of satisfaction. That's always been their weakness. Every species they've encountered approached technology the same way, building bigger ships, stronger weapons, faster computers. None of them ever made the leap we did. Maya nodded, though she knew Chen couldn't see her. The leap he referred to had been humanity's greatest gamble. Instead of trying to outmatch alien technology directly, they had focused on transcending the limitations of organic existence itself. "The volunteer pilots are ready," she said, gesturing to rows of quantum pods where thousands of Earth's best minds lay in suspended animation, their consciousness already transferred into the quantum network. "The moment the Craxus make their move, we'll have human minds controlling every defense system in the solar system, thinking and reacting at quantum speeds. And the fail-safes. Multiple redundancies in place. Every transferred consciousness maintains its human ethics and emotional core. We're not creating artificial intelligence. We're elevating human consciousness to a new level of existence." The quantum displays suddenly flashed red. Maya's hands flew across the holographic controls. "Admiral, we're detecting power surges in the Craxus fleet. They're charging weapons." "They're early," Chen noted, unsurprised. "Typical. They've never had an opponent last this long without surrendering. Their patience has limits." Maya watched as the massive alien fleet began to move, their crystalline ships rearranging themselves into attack formations. They were about to unleash enough firepower to reduce Earth's surface to slag. But as she initiated Project Prometheus's activation sequence, Maya felt only calm. The Craxus Empire was about to learn why humanity had survived every extinction-level threat they'd ever faced. They weren't just fighting a technological war. They were about to encounter an entirely new form of existence. All quantum consciousness pilots linked and ready, she reported. Helios array charged, quantum defense grid online. She paused, allowing herself a small smile. Sir, should we show them what humanity is really capable of? The answer came back instantly. Let's rewrite the rules of warfare. Initiate Protocol Omega. Throughout the solar system, thousands of quantum processors activated simultaneously. Human consciousness, freed from organic limitations, began to flow through networks of entangled particles. The greatest trick humanity had ever played was convincing the galaxy they were just another primitive species struggling to reach the stars. That illusion was about to shatter spectacularly. The first wave of Craxus weapons fire lit up space like a new sun being born. Thousands of crystalline projectiles, each capable of devastating a continent, streaked toward Earth's apparently defenseless surface. Fleet Commander Zrax watched with the detached satisfaction of someone who had performed this duty countless times before. But the projectiles never reached their target. Halfway to Earth, reality itself seemed to bend. The space between the Craxus fleet and their target rippled like a heat mirage, and every single projectile simply vanished. In the quantum network, former fighter pilot Sarah Chen, no relation to the Admiral, experienced the battle in ways her organic brain never could. Her consciousness, freed from physical limitations, processed information at quantum speeds. She didn't just control Earth's defenses, she was them, her mind spread across countless quantum-entangled particles. Did you see that? Sarah's thought voice echoed through the quantum network, reaching the thousands of other transferred consciousness pilots. They're using crystalline-based quantum tunneling for their weapons. Simple, once you understand the principles. The Craxus fleet's attack had failed because Sarah and her fellow pilots had simply redirected their quantum tunneling effect, sending the devastating projectiles into empty space. It wasn't just a defense, it was a fundamental denial of the enemy's basic technology. On the Craxus flagship, alarms screamed in frequencies that would have shattered human eardrums. Impossible. Zrax's crystalline form vibrated with rage and confusion. No species has ever developed quantum interruption technology. Scan their defenses. But the scans revealed nothing. As far as their instruments could tell, Earth was still protected by only basic shield technology. The truth was far more extraordinary. Earth's real defenses existed in a state of quantum superposition, controlled by human consciousness operating outside normal spacetime. They're preparing another volley. Maya's voice came through the quantum network from Europa base. Different frequency this time. They're adaptive. Sarah felt the change in the quantum field as the Craxus fleet adjusted their weapons. This time, they weren't just firing destructive projectiles. They were attempting to collapse the very quantum fields around Earth. Against any normal opponent, it would have been devastating. But humanity wasn't playing by normal rules anymore. Show them what we can really do. Admiral Chen's order came through the network. Initiate counter-strike protocol. Sarah's consciousness expanded further, merging with the Helios array hidden in Venus's atmosphere. Around her, thousands of other pilots did the same, their merged consciousness creating patterns of quantum interaction that had never existed before in the universe. The Craxus fleet fired again. This time, their weapons didn't just vanish. They reversed course. Their quantum tunneling effects turned back against them. Not as a simple reflection, but as a completely rewritten form of quantum interaction. By the first crystal, Zrax's exclamation echoed through the quantum communications that Earth's defenders could now easily intercept. Their technology, it's not possible. These patterns of quantum manipulation, they're organic, living. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The Craxus Empire had spent 50,000 years mastering quantum technology as a tool, a weapon. Humanity had taken a different approach. They had learned to become one with it. The battle unfolded across multiple dimensions of quantum space. Every Craxus attack was met not with simple defense, but with complete comprehension and reformation. Their carefully calculated strategies encountered human intuition operating at quantum speeds, their perfect formations disrupted by consciousness that could exist in multiple states simultaneously. "They're pulling back," Maya reported as the massive Craxus fleet began to retreat. "Their quantum fields are destabilizing. They've never encountered defenses that could actually learn and adapt during combat." But Sarah and the other pilots could sense something else, a growing realization spreading through the Craxus fleet. It wasn't just that their weapons were ineffective. It wasn't just that Earth could defend itself. The truth was far more profound. Humanity had discovered something the Craxus Empire, with all its age and power, had never even imagined. "They're scared," Sarah communicated to the network, "not of our technology. They're scared because they finally understand what they're facing. We're not just fighting their weapons, we're showing them an entirely new way of existing." Admiral Chen's response carried a weight of historical significance. "Then let's make sure they understand completely. Prepare for Phase 2. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength isn't our ability to fight wars. It's our ability to transcend them entirely." The quantum network buzzed with new information as humanity's consciousness-linked pilots probed deeper into the Craxus Empire's technology. What they found was fascinating. The crystalline beings weren't just using quantum mechanics. They were quantum mechanics embodied in crystalline form. "They're like living quantum computers," Dr. Maya Patel observed from Europa Base, her analysis streaming through the network. "Their entire civilization is built on maintaining perfect, predictable quantum states. That's why our approach terrifies them. We're introducing chaos into their ordered universe." Sarah Chen's consciousness flowed through the quantum defense grid, watching the Craxus fleet regroup at the edge of the solar system. Their crystalline ships had arranged themselves into complex geometric patterns, trying to establish stable quantum fields. But there was something different about their formation now, something almost desperate. "They're calling for reinforcements," she reported through the network. "Massive quantum signals reaching out to the galactic core." But she paused, sensing something unexpected in the quantum fluctuations. "There's something else. Their signals carry fear, yes, but also curiosity." Admiral Chen's response came instantly. "Explain." "Some of them are fascinated by what we've achieved," Sarah elaborated. "They've spent 50,000 years believing they understood everything about quantum mechanics. Now they're encountering consciousness-driven quantum states that defy their fundamental laws. It's shattering their worldview." In the Europa Command Center, Dr. Maya Patel's hands flew across quantum interfaces as she processed this information. "Admiral, I think I understand their society better now. The Craxus Empire isn't just enforcing technological uniformity. They're protecting what they see as the natural order of the universe. Their crystalline form represents perfect quantum stability. And we're introducing quantum chaos," Chen concluded, "not just in our defense systems, but in our very approach to existence." The quantum network suddenly surged with new activity. The reinforcements had arrived. Thousands more Craxus ships folding into reality at the edge of the solar system. But humanity was ready. The Helios array, hidden in Venus's atmosphere, had been reconfigured based on everything they'd learned about Craxus quantum physics. "All pilots, initiate Protocol Lambda," Admiral Chen ordered. "Dr. Patel, begin the transmission." Throughout the solar system, human consciousness merged with quantum fields in increasingly complex patterns, but they weren't preparing for combat. Instead, they began broadcasting something unprecedented, the complete quantum signature of human consciousness evolution. "Let them see," Maya whispered, her voice carrying through the network. "Let them understand what we've discovered." The effect on the Craxus fleet was immediate and stunning. Their perfectly ordered formations began to fluctuate as the quantum patterns of human consciousness reached their crystalline forms. It wasn't an attack. It was an invitation to understand something new. Their quantum signatures are changing, Sarah reported, her consciousness sensing subtle shifts in the enemy fleet. Some of their ships, they're beginning to resonate with our patterns. They're learning, adapting, just like we did. Admiral Chen's next words carried the weight of history, and that's exactly what we hoped would happen. Humanity's greatest weapon has never been our ability to destroy. It's our ability to adapt, to change, to show others new possibilities. Through the quantum network, they could sense confusion and division spreading through the Craxus fleet. Some ships maintained their aggressive posture, but others were actively studying the human quantum patterns, their crystalline structures subtly shifting to accommodate new possibilities. "Sir," Maya's voice held a note of wonder, "I'm detecting quantum consciousness signatures emerging from some of the Craxus ships. They're not just observing our patterns, they're beginning to replicate them. They're evolving." Sarah's consciousness brushed against these emerging patterns, feeling the first tentative connections forming between human and Craxus quantum states. "They've spent 50,000 years enforcing stability," she said. "Maybe what they really needed was someone to show them that chaos isn't always something to fear." But not all the Craxus ships were embracing this change. A significant portion of the fleet was drawing into tight formation, their quantum signatures becoming rigid, rejecting the patterns humanity was sharing. The stage was set for the final confrontation, not between different technologies, but between different philosophies of existence itself. "They're making their choice," Admiral Chen observed. "Now we'll see which force is stronger, the fear of change or the desire to evolve." He paused, then added, "Prepare for Phase 3. It's time to show them the full truth of what humanity has become." The solar system had become a quantum battleground, but not in any way the galaxy had seen before. The Craxus fleet had split into two distinct groups, those embracing the new patterns of consciousness-driven quantum states, and those determined to maintain the old order at any cost. "They're preparing for a final attack," Sarah Chen reported through the quantum network, her consciousness spread across the defense grid. "The conservative faction, about 60% of their total force. The others," she paused, sensing the complex quantum signatures. "They're trying to stop them." In the Europa Command Center, Dr. Maya Patel watched as the quantum readings reached unprecedented levels. The Craxus ships that had begun to evolve were attempting to communicate with their brethren, sharing their experience of the new consciousness patterns they'd discovered. But the conservative faction's response was to seal themselves off, their crystalline structures becoming even more rigid and ordered. This was always their greatest fear, Maya realized, the insight flowing through the network. Not that they'd encounter a superior technology, but that they'd discover their entire understanding of existence was incomplete. Admiral Chen's response carried centuries of human wisdom. "Change is never easy. We learned that lesson countless times in our own history, but it's always inevitable." The conservative Craxus ships suddenly surged forward, their formation perfect and deadly. But this time, they weren't just firing quantum weapons. They were attempting to impose their version of reality itself, trying to force the quantum fields back into their definition of proper order. "All pilots," Chen ordered, "initiate final protocol. Show them everything." In that moment, humanity revealed its ultimate achievement. The quantum network didn't just defend or attack. It began to transform space itself. The consciousness of thousands of human pilots, working in perfect harmony, demonstrated what quantum mechanics could truly achieve when guided by minds that understood both order and chaos, both logic and intuition. Sarah felt the change ripple through her quantum state consciousness. "We're not just showing them patterns anymore," she communicated to the network. "We're showing them possibility itself." The effect was beyond anything even humanity had predicted. As the conservative Craxus ships attempted to impose their rigid order, they encountered something their crystalline minds couldn't initially process: quantum states that were simultaneously ordered and chaotic, structured and free, multiple possibilities existing in harmony rather than conflict. From his flagship, Fleet Commander Zrax watched in what might have been awe, as reality itself seemed to twist and reshape around his fleet. How? His quantum transmission carried genuine wonder. How did you achieve this? Because we never stopped asking questions, Admiral Chen replied, his words reaching across the quantum field. We never assumed we had all the answers. Every time we reached a limit, we asked, what if there's another way? The conservative fleet's attack faltered as their weapons encountered quantum states that didn't just resist their order but transformed it, showing them new ways their own technology could evolve. More ships began to shift allegiance, their crystalline structures vibrating with new possibilities. In the quantum network, Sarah sensed the change spreading like a cascade through the Craxus fleet. They're beginning to understand, she reported. Their quantum signatures. They're not just copying our patterns anymore. They're creating their own new variations. Maya's voice carried excitement. It's working exactly as we hoped. We're not forcing them to change. We're showing them how to evolve on their own terms. The remaining conservative ships made one final attempt to maintain the old order. But their weapons, designed to enforce quantum stability, encountered something beyond their comprehension. Quantum states that achieve stability through constant evolution, rather than rigid control. In that moment, the tide turned completely. The last resistant ships found themselves surrounded not by enemies, but by their own kind who had discovered a new way of existing. The choice became clear: evolve or become obsolete. Fleet Commander Zrax's next transmission carried a different tone, not of surrender, but of awakening. For 50,000 years, we thought we were protecting the natural order. Now we understand. The true natural order is evolution itself. Throughout the solar system, human and Craxus quantum signatures began to harmonize in ways neither species had imagined possible. It wasn't an end to their differences, but the beginning of something far more interesting. Two fundamentally different approaches to existence learning from each other. Send word to the galactic core, Zrax announced, his crystalline form now shimmering with new patterns. The age of enforced stability is over. It's time for the galaxy to evolve. Admiral Chen smiled as he watched the quantum readings stabilize into new, more complex patterns. Humanity hadn't just survived. They had transformed a potential apocalypse into a revolution of consciousness itself. It wasn't the end they had originally planned for, but it was exactly the kind of unexpected solution humans had always been best at finding. What happens now? Sarah asked through the network, her consciousness still spread across the quantum field. Now, Chen replied, now we do what humanity has always done best. We explore, we learn, and we grow. But this time, we won't be doing it alone. The quantum network hummed with new possibilities as human and Craxus consciousness patterns intertwined, each learning from the other, each growing stronger through their differences rather than despite them. It was the dawn of a new era, not just for humanity or the Craxus Empire, but for the entire galaxy. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging that the universe had just become a far more interesting place.